So here we go again. Again, we've been searching the internet, and it became apparent that there are many programs on the internet that you don't have to download, that you can just use. And what spurred me on to find this is if you have a look in the sky occasionally, you get a view very similar to this. Right, this is from my front garden, looking skyward, and if you look carefully you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, possibly 7 or 8 trails left by planes which are zooming across the sky at hundreds of miles an hour. And occasionally you get intrigued. I'm sure you do. You're like me. You think, well, I wonder where that's going, where it's come from, etc. Well, I found a nice little program which we can get a lot of information from. So we'll click on the internet, and I've got a little tab here for this program because it's one I keep popping back to time and time again, and it's called flightradar24. Now there's the UK, and there's the planes that are currently in the sky around the UK. It's quite astonishing the amount of planes that are up there. And when you hear of the planes going missing, like MH17 and MH370 disappearing off the map, these are the transponders which are aboard planes. Now, not all planes have them. Commercial airlines and private planes, most private planes have got them. But certainly the major airlines have got them, so they can be tracked and tailed and see what's what. So if we have a look at this this UAL 947, if I click on him in this program, there's nothing to download, by the way, in this website. You just use this website as is. There is a little bit of a link with Google Earth where you might have to put an add-on on your computer. But here's UA 947. It's flying currently from Amsterdam and going to Washington. It's got a journey of 3,857 miles. It's a Boeing 767. Have a look. If we click on this icon here, this will show us, hopefully, its entire route. That is from Amsterdam all the way over here to Washington in America. Now, one of the first things that intrigued me was the fact this is a big arc. Why would they fly in an arc? Why don't they just fly straight across here? Well, you have to bear in mind, of course, that the Earth is round, and we're looking at a flat image of a round surface, so it would appear arced. That's the reason for that. So there's the plane. I look out the window now and I can see black clouds at the moment, so there's no way I can actually see the plane itself. Not only that, it's travelling at 32,000 feet at a speed of 499 miles an hour. So it's got its pinpointed accuracy of where the plane is. Nice little play around, if you will. Just to go back to the normal view. What can he see? Because living in Sutton-on-Sea on the coast here, if I can just zoom in a bit, there we go, and we can see Mablethorpe, Sutton-on-Sea, etc. Right, so if I just have a click on that, this takes a minute, so I will edit some of this, the waiting time out during the map, so during this program. Here we go, here's the Google Earth view. As you can see, it's starting to do the altitude here now, loading the coordinates, and it's got to get up to 32,000 feet. There's the 30, and there's the 2,000 feet, which it should do any time at all. Another thing we can do, if you look at the panel below here, we can actually click to see an aircraft, or give you a rough idea what the aircraft is like. The little black box that come up here, that's a bubble, and that tells us that there is another plane ahead, 47 kilometers ahead. It's not showing me the aircraft like I wanted. Never mind, it's irrelevant. We can turn these bubbles off very easily. Just click the bubbles. We can rotate the view, we can look up the sea, we can look back to Holland, we can look down towards North Walsham and Norfolk, and then we look ahead again. It's not showing the aircraft, which I was rather hoping it would. As I say, not all planes have got all this information on, so There we go. But this is looking along the coast here towards Sutton-on-Sea, Mablethorpe, and there's Skegness just appeared in view. So obviously Mablethorpe's this conurbation up around where my mouse pointer is. So that's very interesting. We can see what the people aboard the plane can see, or certainly the pilot can see. I'll turn that off and we'll go back to the real life thing. And as I said just then, it is real life. Let's have a look at EXS67M. He's going from Venice to Manchester. He's done a lot of his journey. He's got 119 miles left of a total of 849 miles flying. He's in a Boeing 737, flying at 35,000 feet at a speed of 495 miles an hour. So let's have a look, see what he can see. Again, this does take a moment to... Oh, look, there's our plane. Now, he's just flown over the coast. I can take the map away as well. There we go, there's the map gone. There's Mablethorpe, there's Alford, and there's Louth, and he's up there in the sky, and I can't see him. But he is up there. Occasionally he'll do slight alterations in his flight path. As I say, he's going to Manchester, so he should turn slightly to the left any time at all, as soon as he gets over the coast. So this is full of information. What's happening here? Is he descending a little bit? Yeah, he's coming down in a little bit. He's descending the rate of 2,176 feet a minute. So he's, instead of being 35,000, now at 32,150, which is very hard to see when you've got this page on. I'll actually close this down just for a moment. You can see the information better. So there's his altitude, 32,000 feet. He's just over the coast now. So if we had a clear sky and I was to look out and upwards, I would probably see a vapor trail coming off him. Very, very interesting. We can see a lot of the world, if you like, in this little program. I'll zoom right out. That's not as far as it'll go, and if you give it a mode, you can see how full the skies are. Recent stuff which has happened. Oh, too far, come out a bit. Recent stuff that's happened over Ukraine, for example. We've heard Donetsk being mentioned in the news and what have you, with the shooting down of MH17. And as you can see here, all the flights around that area, there's very few flying over this area of the Ukraine where the war is. Are all taking a wide berth from there. QTR, that is Qatar Airways. They're taking a big, wide... They've actually changed direction there. You can see the flight path. Arab Emirates plane there actually detoured. You can see the detour in detail there. Other flights, you click on the flight and you can see their flight path. He's come from Seattle and he's going to Dubai, but again he's come over the Ukraine here and deliberately steered around it. It's so obvious. Another plane there. This is Azerbaijan Airlines, flying from Moscow to Baku, wherever Baku is. Let's have a look, see where Baku lives. Now, is it going to show us or is it not? It does take a moment sometimes, because this is real lifetime on the internet, so maybe not going to show us that one. Yeah, can click on the old Airbus and you can see there the map zooms out, so you can see where he's come from and where he's going to. So he's come really from the west coast of America, Los Angeles, and he's flying to Dubai in what we believe to be a more or less straight line as far as he's concerned. Although that looks very much like a big arch, he is sort of flying shortest possible between the 2 points. So many planes like this in the sky. Let's have a look, see what else we've got here. If you click on the social button, there's a few tabs at the top here which you can see. We click on the social, we can actually go to the chat, and we can choose from English, German, Polish, Russian, Spanish, French and Norwegian languages. So I'm going to click on English because I have a lot of problem with all the rest of them. So here's a little bit of chat. If you get stuck and you want to know what certain things are, why certain things are happening, and if there's any sort of scary stuff going on, have a look in the chat and you can see people who are a lot more informed than I am talk about the various planes and what's happening. You know, some of it's just trivia, but some of it can be 9 minutes rescue. One German helicopter is airborne from Juist in Germany and is inbound UMC Groningen with a patient on board. Right, so there's I don't know if we can actually see this or whether it will zoom in for us. There it is. Yeah, that's a helicopter. We can see that, and you can see that he's taken off, doing 144 mile an hour, and he's heading to somewhere. It hasn't got his flight route on there, but presumably he's going to his nearest hospital if it's an emergency flight that's being put in. There we are. This is called flightradar24.com. It's one of a few that are around that you can actually watch these flights for. I have another one. I don't know if you've been observant and looking at my taskbar at the top there, but I've got Plane Finder as well. If I'll click on that, very similar application. We get red planes instead of yellow ones, but it's the same information. We click on, this is an EasyJet plane that I've just clicked on. It's an Airbus A319. There's its flight number, its call sign, and its tail reference. It's flying from Venice, as I said earlier on the other map. It's flying from Venice to Manchester. He's at 36,250 feet, travelling at 420 knots. Now, if you want to change knots to miles per hour, you need to multiply by 1.15. So if you multiply 417 by 1.15, you can see how fast he's doing in miles per hour. He's scheduled to land there at 12:40, although he's not scheduled to land until 13:05. Again, which with this map, you get a bit of a tailwind somewhere, and it can speed the whole journeys up. This is his flight path. He's come from Manchester originally. He's flown down to Venice, and from Venice and Verona and all that. You can see the places on the map here. If I just zoom in a bit, these are all the different airfields that are around. He's done a turn and he's heading straight back. Just flying over Lincolnshire now, and will eventually come in to land in Manchester. Let's have a look at this this landing business. If I zoom in, and zoom in just a little bit more as well, and again, and eventually I can see the outlines, the shapes of an airfield. That's Manchester Airfield. This is where the emergency happened the other week, about a week or so ago, and they had to have an emergency aircraft from Lincolnshire Air Force Base escort a plane into Manchester Airport, and this is where they would have landed. I don't know what this one is. He's taxiing Rouge Airlines, Air Canada, Boeing 767. He's going from Manchester to Toronto. He's no altitude, so he's actually on the ground at the moment. His speed is 8 knots, so he's actually taxiing at the moment. Where he's going, I'm not 100% sure, but we can carry on to watch this for a moment, and he'll probably make his way to the main runway, where he'll shoot off and go to Canada. It will update in a moment or two. And likewise the EasyJet on the map there. You can see the EasyJet plane, where if I just click on him, he's going from Manchester to Geneva, a journey of 617 miles. His speed is 7 knots, so he's just begun taxiing as well. Go back to the Canadian Airlines. You can see he's changed his position, and it's very, very good how you can actually track the planes. There's a plane here coming into to land, I believe. Yeah, don't know where he's been, but he is. He's at 250 feet at 149 knots, and I would guess he's coming into land. You can't see a cockpit view as far as I'm aware in this program, although I haven't spent much time with planefinder.net. I've been more onto the flightradar24. There he is. Look, suddenly jumped, because there's about 5 or 10 seconds in between each of the updates. So there we are. That's a Ryanair plane. It's a Boeing 737-800. He's flight number FR2627, and he's flown from Ibiza to Manchester. And now he'll end up taxiing back into the main building area, where he'll chuck everybody off and probably load up again to go somewhere else. All these programs I've showed you so far are totally free. We have, oops, don't know what happened there. Yeah, it's excellent stuff, because you can really get an interest going on some of this aircraft stuff. Another one, because we live on the coast, we live in Sutton-on-Sea in Lincolnshire. There we go, that's our home base, and there's a plane just flying over, KLM, that'll be Dutch Airways. He's flying from Amsterdam to Manchester, just a short flight of 300 miles, and he's got about 111 miles left. But because we live on the coast here, there's Sutton-on-Sea, Ingermell, Skegness, Alford, and all the places we know. We live by the coast, so I did have a look and see if we could find the same thing for ships, and I came across another one, and this is from marinetraffic.com. Oh, and we get this junk at the top, which is really, really annoying. Anyway, we look off the coast and have a look out towards the sea, and we see all these planes. We see all these ships going past, and it's very interesting to try and find out what they are. So if I click on this one, which is Eames Delphia is the name. It's from Netherlands. Its flag is Netherlands, so it's registered there. It's underway using the engine. Its speed is 9.5 knots, which is probably only about 10 to 15 miles an hour. You can see the vessel's track, distance to travel, itineraries, history, position in history, port calls, and nearby vessels. And have a look at the vessel details. Tells us all about the ship, a photograph of the ship as well, which can be very good, and everything you want to know. Its last position received is pretty much area of the North Sea, underway using the engine, as I said before, travelling, the wind is at about 11 knots, and loads of information all about the ships that pass us by. Ships that pass in the night are now identifiable. We'll turn that off. Have a look at another one. If I just pull out a little bit, there we go. There's another one here. Navion Oceana. Don't know what he is. Right, big ship there. Registered in the Bahamas. It's a tanker. Don't know where he's heading to or from or anything like that. He is underway, travelling 12.8 knots. Right, I don't totally understand that yet, because this is quite a new program to me. Anyway, it's fun, isn't it? All this information about ships heading into Hull and the docks here, and we can click on them to find out who they are, what they are, where they're going. One stranger sort of thing here is, if you look here, just where it says Sutton-on-Sea, you find another ship. Well, what we believe is to be a ship, but it isn't actually. It is our little radio mast that we all look at, that's on the horizon pretty much everywhere you look inland from Sutton-on-Sea. And this is classed as a vessel. It's an FM transmitting tower, so all the information which is transmitted from ships is repeated probably through this tower. That's the way I believe it. I'm not 100% sure, but it's amazing, all the different ships, type of ships that you can see. Catamaran there, look, another one there. He's Star Aruba from the Netherlands. There we are. I hope that's been food for thought for you. If ever you get bored one afternoon and you don't know what to do, it's pouring with rain outside, it's cold, and you just want to sit in the house and maybe use the computer for something. We've got 3 little programs there. One is called flightradar24, where we can see all the all the planes literally in the world who have this transponder in them. If I just zoom out to an entire world map, and although this is a little bit slow, even in Australia we can have a look at. So if you've got relatives who have flown to Australia for a holiday, and you know their flight number, you can actually sit around and watch them. You know, this guy's come from Singapore and he's going to Brisbane, and every single plane that appears on here will have some sort of information about it. Absolutely wonderful, amusing, and intriguing as well. Hope you've enjoyed this demonstration of flightradar24 of life ships, which I'll put these websites up at the end of the demonstration, and of course Plane Finder here, Planefinder.net, where we can see all the planes that are about to take off and land in various airports throughout the world. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope this gives you some food for thought.